Hayao Miyazaki filmed a movie called The Wind Rises. In that movie, there is a 6-second scene that took about 1 year and 3 months to animate. They could have used CGI, but instead, Hayao Miyazaki had artist Eiji Yamamoto animate by hand every single frame of that 6-second scene. But now, as you might have noticed online, AI can generate Studio Ghibli style images in 6 seconds or less. This is obviously problematic because if a 6-second scene that took an artist 1 year now takes AI a few hours to make, where does that leave artists in terms of work and individual creativity? The problem right now, which is being argued in courts and on LinkedIn and Instagram and forums, is the fact that the majority of the art that AI is creating is sourcing from a database that is largely made from copyrighted work. Studio Ghibli images, for example, from ChatGPT would not be possible unless if they fed ChatGPT a database full of Ghibli-style imagery, aka Ghibli movies. Now, this is obviously problematic for a lot of reasons, not including the fact that ChatGPT at the highest tier costs $200 a month. That money is partially going to run the GPUs that power this image generation, but it's also going to higher valuations of AI's stock prices, which then in turn gets reinvested into the company to continue building more of what they're building. So normally how copyright law works is a company buys the rights to certain art. This is what game studios do, animation studios do, companies like Disney. They'll buy rights to certain IPs, certain artistic works and designs so that they can use them. But the entire area around AI right now is such a massive gray area that has never happened before. Courts and laws are lagging behind. There are people out there saying, don't worry, courts will take action, artists will be compensated. Right now, that is still such a gray area because you have certain places in the world where the laws are very fluid, and they have always been fluid regarding copyright and trademark. And those places will inevitably gain the lead on things like AI. DeepSeek and ChatGPT will likely still be capable of making imagery based off of Studio Ghibli, for example, if their operations are in a country where it is legally allowed to train data on that copyrighted information. The solution to the problem of, oh, we can rely upon the courts to ensure artists will be compensated, is still a big unknown. But regardless of what the courts do, the problem of generative AI is that it's a technology that exists and will remain existing. This eventually will reduce knowledge work to nil, because if AI can do what I can do, but in only a matter of seconds and a bit of electricity and a prompt, what is stopping AI from doing that for every area of knowledge work, from software development to IT to financial? Every art director, game developer, even AI entrepreneurs who I've talked with have said that AI cannot replace the soul of humans in art, the soul of humans in creativity. We can't say that that is an end all to all the arguments that AI brings up, especially regarding art. 2 years ago, AI art was not even a thing. Really. It was kind of confined to Discord forums and really bad, just kind of junk abstract collages. 1 year ago, AI couldn't do hands. We solved that problem. And now there was the issue of solving for the finer details, which are quickly being ironed out. Many of my friends who are interested in the arts but not artists themselves can no longer tell the difference between AI art and regular art. And I find myself scrolling Pinterest and questioning, is that AI art? But one refrain I hear quite often is that humans have creativity and AI intelligence does not work the same way as human creativity. There are a few problems with, again, this, however, as well, because it relies on the same argument as the last thing. Again, underestimating the capabilities of this machine learning. It's attempting to predict the future when we don't yet know the future, and the problems that humans will be able to solve or AI will be able to solve in making itself smarter and more capable. But I do have something I want to show you because I think this is the deeper problem that we're getting at with AI. I made a short about this a few weeks ago, and it got me thinking. In one of my Hayao Miyazaki books, there is a quote from Hayao Miyazaki that says, "What rushes forth from inside of you is the world you have already drawn inside yourself, the many landscapes you have stored up, the thoughts and feelings that seek expression." What Hayao Miyazaki is stating is, in each of us there is a story that has been lived, experiences that have been seen, smells and sights and feelings that we have felt that no other being has ever felt before. And what art really is it's an outpouring of those emotions. But is that something that will be consistently commercialized into the future? Will we be able to be paid for that? That is one segment of art. That is art as a mode of discovery, a mode of expression, not necessarily a mode of monetization. Will we be able to pay the bills if AI can automatically generate what we spend hours making? The other problem with this is also the question of whether AI is experiential. If AI is capable of experiencing in a similar way that humans are, although I don't know if they are, zeros and ones seem a little different than biological strata. But if they are, they will also have stories and sights and experiences that they can draw from. And even if they're not, there is a more science fiction thing that is happening, which is neurological biological computers. I don't know if these will catch on and be mainstream, but currently GPUs, graphics processing units, the computer hardware that runs AI, is incredibly expensive. So what some startups have done is they have grown, I think, either mouse neurons or human neurons in a lab environment and have run AI on biocomputers, which have a much lower energy consumption cost. We know that biomatter is capable of experiencing, because our biomatter is, unless if you are a dualist, but that's an entire other philosophical video. And if that's the case, AI will be able to experience. It's the question of cyborgs, essentially. But Pierce, you might say, this is all so sci-fi, far-fetched. Like, what does this have to do with all of the question of AI taking my job? I'd agree. This is a lot of conjecture, and I literally just said, don't predict the future. But that's also why I'm making this video, is because currently technology is only progressing quicker and quicker. What will we do when AI can make an entire Ghibli movie with a 3-word prompt and it does it in like an hour? What about when it can do better than our greatest minds, our greatest scientists? You have things like AlphaFold 3 already documenting every protein in the human body. And what will we do when all the knowledge work is gone and the robotics companies start making cheap robots that can do manual labor? What does that leave us with? AI both fascinates, scares, and even disgusts me a little bit because it calls my entire identity into question. It is able to make art that I would spend hours making. Even if it's only a potentiality, it questions all the ways that I can give back and contribute to society. When everything that I do as an artist and as a worker in person is automated by AI, is stripped away, what does that leave me with to do? What am I left with? Why do anything at all? We all die. Even if we did live forever, heat death of the universe would mean that it would end at some point. Unless if an afterlife turns out to be true, after this it might be all gone. All the art I made, everything I know is scattered as atoms, and the greatest art is ground to dust. Nobody to know us, nothing to experience, no arts that we've ever made to be remembered. Why do anything at all? That's the question that I think AI leads to. It's a very existential one, because it does call into question everything we do with our lives. Do we work? Do we escape to the countryside and live in a cabin? Do we use the AI and try to compete? I don't have the answers to those questions, because if I did, I would know the future. I would know where AI was going and what the greater purpose of existence would be. Of course, right now, I need to pay the bills, pay rent, water my plant. I am going to work in spite of AI right now, and I'm obviously going to have to find solutions if AI causes a dip in my commissions. But is AI ever going to stop me from making art in the first place? No. We do what we can because we can. We climb the mountain because we can. We run the 100 miles because we can. Make it anyway. Even if the prompter can do it in 3 seconds and it takes you 3 hours. In the end, we're all just a bunch of dying yet experiential biomatter floating around on a rock in space. Maybe we live in a future where we don't get paid for art nearly as much. But if you're only making art to get paid, maybe art isn't something you should be focusing your time on. We don't know what will happen with AI. Anyone who says they do, including me, don't believe them. The best weather models can't even accurately predict the weather in like a day in advance. So stress a little if you want, but do not let AI stop you from making art and pursuing your dreams, even if they seem more and more far-fetched, because we don't know what the future will bring. There is a quote from Kung Fu Panda. It goes, "You are too concerned with what was and what is to be." There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. AI might replace me in my job as an art director and an artist, or it might not. But no, AI will never replace me as an artist. I won't let it. This video is sponsored by One Sin, my clothing brand. You can see I'm wearing one of the shirts here. You can go to onesin.shop. They are organic cotton embroidered t-shirts, the best shirts you will ever find because the designs won't wash off. So if you want to make sure that AI won't replace me for sure, you can buy these shirts. Or you can also buy something else on my website, ekpap.com/shop. Or just go to ekpap.com. Also, I have a mailing list if you want to sign up for that. If not, a subscribe, which side is it on, would be very, very wonderful, or a like. Hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, do not let AI stop you from making art. Peace out.